Hi students, welcome to Alphos e-learning chemistry classes for second year. The running chapter is electrochemistry and now we are in session number 17. Clear? And now in previous sessions I provided you two numerical to solve and here are the solutions for those two numericals. The first question is given as when some sort of current or charge, electricity is passed through molten AlCl3. Molten AlCl3 is nothing but fused AlCl3. It is given as chlorine released at anode by 11.2 liters at STP. And now they are asking for how much of aluminum will be deposited at cathode. That is the question. And as we know, it is nothing but from Faraday's second law, because relative amounts we know it is the mass of aluminum formed by the volume of chlorine released, because already in previous session we discussed that when they are asking masses we have to consider equivalent mass. When they are giving the information related to volume we have to consider equivalent volume. Clear? And here volume is given, that's why I am writing like this. And now it is equivalent weight of aluminum by equivalent volume of chlorine, that is. And now let us consider these two values. Already equivalent volume of chlorine you know, because in previous sessions we discussed about that. And now equivalent weight of aluminum is nothing but atomic weight by Z. Here Z is nothing but 3 because aluminum is in +3 condition. So atomic weight is 27 by 3, it is 9. 9 is the equivalent weight of aluminum. And now equivalent volume of chlorine, it is nothing but gram molar volume by Z factor. Gram molar volume is fixed, it is constant at STP 22.4 by Z. For chlorine monovalent atoms 2 are present in molecule, so 1 plus 1 2, that is nothing but 11.2 is the equivalent volume. So in this problem they provided this volume of chlorine released and we should know these two. Just now you should know equivalent weight of aluminum and equivalent volume of chlorine. So they provide this and we know these two. Now mass of aluminum that deposited is nothing but equivalent weight of aluminum 9 into volume of chlorine released by equivalent volume of chlorine, that is nothing but 9 grams of aluminum is deposited. Clear? That is the solution for first problem. And now let us move to the next problem. Here in this next problem they provided the same amount of current, that is 3 Faradays of current is passed through Al2O3 fused alumina and then it is passed through aqueous USO4 solution and the same 3 Faradays of current is passed through fused NaCl electrolyte. And now they are asking how much of aluminum and copper and sodium in molar ratio they are asking. Clear? And now for this purpose how to get molar ratio? Moles we can obtain by number of equivalent weights by Z factor. Simply by this value you can consider the moles. Now we know by definition from Faraday's by definition of equivalent weight, 1 Faraday of current when passed, it is forming 1 equivalent weight of substance at electrode. Clear? 1 Faraday when passed it will form 1 equivalent weight of that substance. And now when 3 Faradays are passed, 3 equivalent weights are formed. Clear? And now when 3 equivalent weights are formed for aluminum, 3 equivalent weights, aluminum 3 equivalent weights by Z factor for aluminum, here it is Al plus 3. So aluminum moles is nothing but 3 equivalent weights by 3, that is nothing but 3 by 3, 1 mole of aluminum is formed. Similarly for copper, when it is forming 3 equivalent weights by its Z factor is Cu plus 2, that's why 2, so it is 1.5 moles it will form. And then sodium, 3 equivalent weights it is forming and its Z factor Na plus 1, so 3 by 1 mole it will form. So altogether, by passing 3 Faradays of current through these 3 different electrolytes, the molar ratio that formed are aluminum is to copper is to sodium is in the ratio of 1 is to 1.5 is to 3. This is solution for the second question. Clear? That is about the numerical part given in the previous session. And now coming to this session, with this one we completed the first part of electrochemistry as we discussed in the beginning of the chapter. In the beginning of the chapter we discussed that the total electrochemistry is 2 parts. One is nothing but the conversion of electrical energy into chemical energy, which is taking place in electrolytic cell. All discussions we completed. And now we are moving into the second part, that is nothing but electrochemical cells. Electrochemical cells. And here we know these are useful in generating current, that is chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. Chemical energy is nothing but from redox reactions, you remember. From redox reactions we can generate electrical energy. The device is known as electrochemical cell. So it is second part of the electrochemistry. Clear? And now what is happening in this electrochemical cell and what are different phenomena, how to measure how much of current is generated, all it will be discussed in the second part. Clear? And now let us continue with this one. Electrochemical cells, where chemical energy converted to electrical energy. These are of 2 types, you remember. One is chemical cell, and the second one is concentration cell. One is chemical cell and the other one is concentration cell. And now in this session we are having the discussion about chemical cell. And this chemical cell, nothing but electrochemical cell, is also known as redox cell, or it is also known as galvanic cell, or it is also known as voltaic cell. These are the different names. Clear? And now redox cell is nothing but purely we can say that because of redox reactions it is known as. Redox reactions are the sources to develop this electrical energy, that's why it is. And voltage or galvanic cell, this. Clear? And now this chemical cell or electrochemical cell is of having 2 electrodes similar to electrolytic cell, but already in the beginning we learned that the 2 electrodes in electrolytic cell will present in the same electrolyte, whereas in case of electrochemical cell these 2 electrodes are separately present, and these 2 separately present electrodes are known as, each one is known as a half electrode or it is known as single electrode. Here the 2 electrodes that present are, one is anode, nothing but it is nothing but oxidation half electrode, and the second one is cathode, nothing but reduction half electrode. Clear? And now by considering one example, best example is Daniell cell constructed from zinc and copper electrodes. From this Daniell cell, how the electrodes are working and how the current is generated. And first of all let us discuss about the construction of Daniell cell, how it is constructed. Let us discuss about that. And here the example is Daniell cell. constructed from zinc and copper electrode cell. Clear? And now in this cell, zinc rod dipped in its zinc sulfate solution acts as anode. You remember, when these two are, that is zinc and copper, these two are the metals. In that one, the zinc electrode, which is zinc rod dipped in its zinc sulfate solution, acts as anode. Automatically the second one is copper rod dipped in its copper sulfate solution acts as cathode. These are the two electrodes in Daniell cell. Let me draw that, a rough diagram. Here this is zinc rod, and this zinc rod is dipped in its zinc sulfate solution, and thereby we are now having the zinc half electrode or single electrode of zinc sulfate solution, and this is zinc rod. And the other electrode is copper electrode, where copper rod is dipped in it copper sulfate solution, and this is. And these two electrodes are known as, each one is known as a single electrode, as these two are involving in construction of the electrochemical cell. These two connected with voltmeter, and these two electrolytes are, to complete the circuit we are using the salt bridge. If you remember, in the previous classes also we are having the salt bridge is there, and now the circuit complete and current will flow. Clear? And now these two electrodes, when they are separately present, they are half electrodes. Now they are present totally when the circuit is completed. This is nothing but electrochemical cell, the best example, and it is Daniell cell. Clear? And here this anode, already we know, at anode de-electronation, oxidation takes place, thereby it is forming or it is releasing electrons. It is oxidation half electrode, and because of releasing electron, it is developing some sort of negative charge around this electrode. That's why it is represented with the negative sign. And at cathode, copper ions in the solution will get the electrons and it will be reduced to copper. That means these copper ions will be deposited. As the electrons are withdrawn from this, it is of creating some sort of positive charge around this electrode, and because of that positive charge, it is represented with plus. This is the electrochemical cell constructed from zinc and copper electrodes. The best example for this electrochemical cell. Clear? And now here let us continue our discussion related to salt bridge. What is salt bridge? What is the purpose of it? What is working? That is nothing but the function of that salt bridge. If salt bridge is not present, what happens? We have to discuss. Now, salt bridge, it is nothing but, the salt bridge is nothing but U-shaped glass tube. U-shaped glass tube. It is filled with, you remember, sometimes in your competitive examination they are asking questions related to this. Filled with agar jelly. Filled with agar jelly. Mixed with electrolytes. Here the electrolytes, again you have to remember this also, like electrolytes like KCl, or you can use KNO3, or you can use NH4NO3, that is potassium chloride or potassium nitrate or ammonium nitrate. Solutions can be used as electrolytes in salt bridge. Clear? And now let us continue our discussion related to salt bridge. What is the purpose? That is, what is the function of salt bridge? Just, it is nothing but it is of completing the circuit, and if the salt bridge is not present, If the salt bridge is not present, automatically the circuit is not completed and thereby no current will flow. And now when salt bridge is present, you may think like that. If it is absent, directly we can connect directly this solution we can make in contact like that of electrolytic cell, like clear. But it should not happen like that. Why? This salt bridge prevents the accumulation of the charges like this. And already we discussed, because of the releasing electrons accumulated on zinc electrode, some negative charge will develop. But that negative charge should be discharged by flowing the electrons towards this. Clear? And when it is going like that, Zn plus 2 is coming to this solution. Here the Zn plus 2 will increase. And to neutralize that, some sort of anions should migrate like this. So this salt bridge prevents the accumulation of the charge. It also prevents the mixing of the two electrolyte solutions. If it is allowing these two electrolytes to come in contact, what happens? Then some sort of potential, you remember this word, it is nothing but liquid junction potential will develop. When liquid junction potential will develop, automatically there is no migration of the current. Current can't be generated. So this liquid junction potential is nothing but when the two liquids are coming into contact, at their contact surface some sort of, here already you know, when zinc is coming into the solution, Zn plus 2 concentration will increase. And in this one, when copper is deposited on the electrode, automatically SO4 minus 2 will be deposited. So here zinc Zn plus 2, here SO4 minus 2, both these two are positive and negative potential, that is potential junction will be developed. So when these two are fighting here, automatically there is no migration of electron. That's why it will prevent, that salt bridge will prevent this formation of liquid junction potential. Clear? And now it will allow the ions flow from this one electrolyte to the other electrolyte. Clear? These are the functions. In case if all of a sudden if salt bridge is removed, what happens? Simply you can say what is the functioning of that? A reverse will happen. When it is removed, first what happens is the voltage will become zero. There can't be any electricity generation. That will come to zero first, and then this liquid junction potential will develop. Liquid junction potential will develop. Clear? That will happen if salt bridge is not present. It is removed. And now one more billion-dollar question is, why only these three are supposed to be in salt bridge? We are having the doubt. Is it possible to use any other electrolyte here, or only these three are supposed to be used in salt bridge? You remember, here we need not use only these three. Any solvent, any electrolyte we can use, but they should obey certain conditions. The required conditions are there. Let us consider what are the required conditions. First of all, any electrolyte that present in the salt bridge should not have any chemical reaction with the electrolytes that present either of the two half electrodes. That means whatever the electrolyte present in this case, in this salt bridge, should not react with this electrolyte solution or with this electrolyte solution. It should be inert. That is the first condition. And the second condition is cation and anion, both these two are present. Say for example KCl, K plus Cl minus, K plus NO3 minus, NH4 plus NO3 minus. These cations and anions should have the same ionic mobility. Same ionic mobility means they should have the same velocity under the same potential gradient. Or otherwise we can say that they should possess almost all equal transport number. In such a case they can do their function in a perfect manner and so as to get the maximum electricity from these redox reactions. So these two are the required condition. One is nothing but they should not have any chemical reaction with the electrolytes of either of the two half electrodes, and the second one is nothing but both the two, that is the cation and anion, should possess almost equal ionic mobility, that is nothing but they should possess almost equal transport number. So now these three, why we are considering here an example as examples, because in these three conditions the cation and anion are obeying these two conditions. In these three electrolytes we are observing the two required conditions are followed by this. Now you can use any other electrolyte which are obeying these two, that is they are not having any chemical reaction with the electrolytes of the electrodes, and if they are having the same ionic mobility of the cation and anion, then you can use that electrolyte also in this salt bridge. Clear? That is about construction of electrochemical cell and the salt bridge functions. Clear? In the next episode we will discuss about the cell representation and what are the cell reactions and how we can represent the electrochemical cell by IUPAC conventions. We will discuss about that. Clear?